In today's video, traders, we're going to cover what's going on with the Great British Pound according to the COT report data that we have in here, talking about institutional money and what has happened with the pound and what's been going on recently with GBP pairs. We're going to dive into it and talk a little bit about technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and of course, the COT report data. That is the commitment of traders report information that we have here on the screen right in front of us. Let's go ahead and dive into it right now. Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nick. I make all sorts of Forex related content here on YouTube for free. I ask that if my stuff is helpful to you or you're looking to improve as a trader, consider subscribing down below and also give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more COT or commitment of trader report data. So we're going to be talking about the commitment of traders report, specifically the Great British Pound, the pound sterling, what's been going on. Now what you have here in front of you is this is your asset managers, this is the institutional money being tracked by the commitment of traders report. Now, if you don't know what this is, in the United States, individuals who or kind of companies or big institutions that hold or trade a certain amount of money have to report once a week their current positions. And what we've done here, this is a kind of proprietary tool that the Trader Nick team behind the scenes has worked on. We've put together this tool basically to be able to take a look at what's going on with that data. When it comes in, it kind of takes all the text files that we receive from the commitment of traders report, which is publicly available, and we kind of break it down and build it into these charts like you can see here. And so it makes it a little bit easier to understand what exactly we see going on. Now what we have here is down below, you can see that the orange line is the net minus or the long minus short positions here. So this is our overall holdings according to institutional money. And what this kind of allows us to track, guys, is as this thing sort of is going up, right? Or this thing is going down, this is showing us the money flows literally from the source, right? Actual money being handed or handled by the mutual funds, the insurance companies, right? Pension funds, asset managers, institutional money, right? We're able to see that sort of stuff here on the chart. Now, what we have next, you can see is what we've seen more recently, as many of you guys who are watching this currently will know, is the pound has been rising quite a bit. And what you can see here is that we also kind of saw this happening here on the institutional money flow around the same time. So what we can see here is that right around late July and in early August, you can see markets started, or at least institutional money started to flow in the opposite direction, right? So there was a lot of bearishness here on the pound. And then right around that area, we started to see the change in sentiment. We saw a lot of institutional buying going on. So if we just really quick pull up the pound dollar in reference to what we're talking about, we can talk about in late July, you can see early August, right? Right around this area, what you can see is this is where institutional money was getting involved, right? We just pulled that up. During that time, July and August, right? Money from the institutional or smart money, right, was buying in to this GBP pair. Now I'm taking a look at the weekly chart, and you might be like, well, Nick, I don't trade the weekly chart. That's way too slow. Well, remember, when we're talking about smart money, guys, smart money doesn't move their money quickly. They actually move it slowly. And you might say, well, why would they move it slowly? It's because there's so much money that they need to move, right? Banks, institutions, smart money, they don't move their money all at once like you or I might do as retail traders, because we only have a little bit of money relative to the big banks that are trading, right? So the big banks and institutions, they move a lot slower. So they loaded up their buys down in this area and have been adding to their position since. How do I know that? It's because it's not necessarily opinion, right? It is actually what we see in the COT report data. If we zoom in just a bit more, you can see since this area, we've had steady buying on the pound since that time, right? You can see that there was a lot of net short going, a lot of people going short, a lot of people selling, not holding their buys, right? And then right around this area, we started to see asset money and institutional money start to go long. And right around that area, we have kind of seen price start to really rise on the back of that. So what does that mean for us going forward? What does this tell us about what might happen next with the Great British Pound? Well, a lot of people here are getting stuck in their short positions saying that the pound is too high and that it couldn't possibly continue going higher. Well, I'm not going to say that it has to go higher, but I will say if we take a look at this data, you can see that asset managers are still adding to their long positions even most recently. We overall see that the kind of institutional money has been adding to their long positions, and until we see a shift in that, you know, that still remains kind of a bullish case, at least in the asset managers department. Now, I want to add on to this, guys. If we zoom down here, take a look at what we have down here. This is our leveraged funds. Now, leveraged funds, these are also interesting things to take a look at, because remember, when we were talking about this, a lot of this is not speculative money. This is just money flow from institutional, you know, in transactions, right? So the asset managers may or may not be speculating, right? You and I, who are making predictions about where price will go, we are speculators. Well, when we're talking leverage funds and hedge funds, a lot of these guys are indeed speculators, or at least are making money through their trades, right? These guys might be hedging their bets. They might just be sticking money in different places, right? They might just be transacting for businesses, that sort of thing. These guys are more likely to be more speculative and choosing a direction and saying, you know, I think that the market may do this, and we're speculating on the potential next movements in the price. Well, if we take a look at this, we could also get some information, and I want to show you guys what's happened most recently here on this chart. So we have seen the rise on GBP USD quite a bit, right? Well, you can see similar right around this area. Smart money here was getting long, although they were lit a little bit slower, right? So August, you can see they were slightly adding to their positions, but then they kind of went short. So for the most part, right around here, we didn't get any sort of decisive. So they weren't as early into the trade as maybe the asset managers were right around that same time, July, August, right? So during August and July here, you can see that we weren't really necessarily super long in the hedge funds and money managers area, the leverage funds. But then we started to see them starting to tack along and start riding the trend. So they did still get in early. They're still riding this trend. But I want to show you guys what's happened most recently. And this is why I'm making this video really, is take a look at this. You can see that leverage funds have decreased their long positions most recently. As of most recently, due to this data, you can see that we did have a decrease in the amount of, or the net long and short positions by leveraged funds. Now, this could be an interesting thing, because you can see that price on GBP USD does look a bit stretched here. Again, this is the weekly chart. This is a little bit longer term, looking at this smart money kind of indicator that we have here, right? So as price is looking a bit stretched to the upside, it did seem like we saw some selling, or some net selling on the leveraged funds. These are your guys who are speculating about the price movement, and they very well could be right. So now that we have an understanding of what the smart money has been up to with the pound, let's talk about some technicals that might be valuable here on the weekly chart. Okay, so of course, we are at an area of potential resistance right now. Okay, we're at this major level, and this is a very key moment, as we do see some leverage funds pulling back on their long positions and seeing the fact that pound dollar is also at a weekly level of resistance. So with that in mind, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that we could see a pullback here on GBP USD. Well, where could we be headed? Let's take a look at some more structure points, and you can see that we've got this level here right around that 1.30 level. That is a major area. It was the source of where we just recently saw this market break out of. And so if you're a bull on GBP, we could see price pull back to this area before maybe even finding a bounce and continuing. Remember that markets like to move in waves, right? It's natural for them to want to pull back, find new buyers, you know, let people take profits, let people, you know, get stopped out, right? Make the market move in waves. And so this might be an area, if you are a bull on GBP, to look for ideas, look for setups that you like. Now you have an idea of what the asset managers are doing. You have an idea of leverage funds and what they're up to. Guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do this sort of stuff on a regular basis here on the Trader Nick YouTube channel. And also make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.